Hello and welcome to Mind Garden Psychology. My name is Adrian Cuerva and I'm a psychologist from Sydney, Australia. Today we're diving into the world of schema therapy, and if you've ever wondered what that is, you've come to the right place. So let's get started. So schema therapy is a type of psychological therapy that helps people understand and overcome deeply rooted negative patterns in their lives. And it does so by drawing upon a variety of different therapeutic styles and theories, ranging from cognitive behavioral therapy, psychodynamic psychotherapy, gestalt therapy, attachment theory, and even incorporating aspects of mindfulness-based therapies and techniques, as well as emotion-focused techniques as well. Now, I said a lot of technical jargon there, and don't get too caught up in that. I'll make videos in the future addressing those things. Let's start off by just understanding what is a schema in the first place. So broadly speaking, a schema is a framework for how we organize information. You can think of it like a blueprint that tells us what to do with information about the world around us. It influences how we collect, store, and interpret information, not only about the world around us, but about other people and about ourselves as well. You can also think of it like a filter that information passes through, and when that information passes through, it gets organized and manipulated in a certain way. Now, while schemas can form as an adult, it's much more likely that they're going to form in our early childhood years when our first ideas, our first core beliefs are being formed. So as human beings, we have schemas about everything. But the ones that we're talking about today, we can sometimes call negative schemas or maladaptive schemas. These are the ones that we struggle with and that people come to therapy for. And these ones develop when our core emotional needs haven't been sufficiently met, especially throughout childhood. These are things like physical safety, secure emotional attachment, emotional expression, appropriate boundaries. The list goes on. All you need to know is that there are these core emotional needs that people have, especially children. And when these core emotional needs are frustrated consistently, it can lead to the development of these negative or maladaptive schemas. For instance, let's say that there's a child that grows up in an environment where they're repeatedly told they're not good enough and repeatedly told that they're a failure. We could say that their core emotional need of secure emotional attachment or a feeling of a sense of competency, like I can do things, like I'm good at things, has been consistently frustrated. And over time, these messages become part of their mental blueprint, part of their schema about the way that they see themselves. And they might start to see themselves as a failure, as someone that's unworthy or incapable, even if that's not true. As these schemas develop and solidify throughout a person's life, it can be very difficult for them because now they're filtering the world through the lens of this negative schema, leading them to feeling very stuck in negative life patterns. I like to think of it as a pair of glasses that when you put on results in you seeing the world in a negative light, and that those glasses can be very, very difficult to take off. There are many different schemas that a person might develop, and of course psychologists have spent time identifying the ones that people commonly report. For example, there are schemas related to failure, abandonment, self-sacrifice, defectiveness, social isolation, just to name a few. Overall, schemas are a psychological pattern that people feel stuck in. They often feel like this perception is so real that it's undeniable, like it's a part of their DNA. In schema therapy, there's also this concept called modes. Now, modes develop in an individual as a way of coping with the stress and repeated triggering of a schema. When a certain schema is triggered, different modes will start to come out. So for example, someone whose failure schema has been triggered may go into a mode where they begin to harshly criticize themselves. We might call this a critic mode. Or they may go into a mode where they begin to overwork themselves to a really excessive and unhealthy degree. We might call this an overcompensation mode. Now, modes, like I mentioned earlier, are an attempt to help cope with the triggering situation. Sadly, however, these modes are often only temporarily helpful and can often make the situation worse in the long run, especially as people progress into adulthood. It's important to remember that these schemas and modes aren't fixed. Therapy, positive experiences, supportive relationships can help reshape these psychological patterns and allow people to develop healthier and more positive ways of seeing and relating to themselves, other people, and the world at large. A trained therapist would help you identify schemas and modes and learn how to connect with your emotional needs. They may help you learn how to revisit past memories, painful memories, including past traumas, and experience what might be called therapeutic moments of healing, where painful memories and past wounds are addressed and processed in a healthy manner. Ultimately, this is all in the service of unlearning negative schemas and laying down new positive schemas so that you can feel safer, more secure in yourself, and be your best authentic, assertive, and independent self. Last but not least, schema therapy brings forward this idea that inside of us are childhood memories, our childhood selves, an inner child where all of our stories began. And that it's this part of us that is hurting during moments of distress. At the heart of schema therapy is learning how to connect with our inner child, and that by learning how to fulfill our emotional needs on that level in the most healthy and effective manner possible, we can experience growth, healing, and a sense of inner transformation. That's all for today's video. I hope you found this gave you some insight into how some of the deeper aspects of therapy tend to work. Please hit the like, share, subscribe, and notification buttons. Please leave a comment down below and get involved in the Mind Garden community. And as always, if you're struggling with mental health issues of your own, please seek the support of a qualified psychologist or mental health worker. Take care, and until next time, let's continue to grow together.